Welcome to The Warehouse. Have you ever heard a sermon and thought, how in the world did he discover that? Or where did he get that idea? Every week at Cornerstone Church, two teams dig into the biblical text that'll be taught during our weekend services. We spend hours talking about the text, the context, the culture of the time, you name it. But you can't stuff all that into a 30-minute message. That's where we come in. We're going to show you the stuff in the warehouse that didn't make it to the stage. Hey guys, I got a fun one this week.
Sweet. Bring it.
When you look at the fruit of the Spirit, which one are you currently feeling the need to grow in the most? Gentleman first.
So is that you or me?
Oh, you're the gentleman.
I'm the gentleman. So I would be fruit of the Spirit. So, I mean, it's all one thing. It's not like multiple fruits of the Spirit. It's different aspects of the fruit of the Spirit. I think for me, I would probably have to say, it's between love and gentleness for me. I think probably love.
Yeah. Where have you noticed that? Like that gap. We've talked about having gaps a lot. Where have you noticed that? Where you're like, yeah, love is the one.
This is getting very real on this podcast, but I trust you all as my brothers and sisters.
Yeah, we won't tell anyone.
I am prone to bitterness. Like it's one of my like more habitual issues.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of sick. I mean, it just ends up like I just start getting upset with people over kind of silly stuff and just tucking it away and like not really saying anything about it. Just getting a generally ill feeling toward people.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it can like really start in one area and then branch out to pretty much everybody. And I hate it. And I would say that it largely stems from lacking love.
Oh man.
Especially when you get into like 1 Corinthians 13, that love covers a multitude of sins and those and bears all things and all that. It's like, okay, that's me lacking in love.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
That's
Stephanie? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, man, that's pretty big. Like, knowing you would never think that you struggle with bitterness.
That's because I have very high self-control. So I don't say the things.
Yeah.
But just
you feel
internally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel
Right.
them.
So, which leads into mine is gentleness. Sometimes I'm not very good at my responses, where I can respond with lack of respect. And I can react sometimes worse than I would like to.
Man, that's pretty cool. When did you feel that? Like when did you feel like that? Yeah, I need work there.
A lot of self-evaluating lately and just like learning where I need to grow in areas of my life. What about you, Jay?
Yeah, as I'm remembering the list that I have deeply memorized and the descriptions for them.
As he's looking at a list right now.
I am holding up my laptop so Jay can see the descriptions.
Yes. Oh man. Ooh, yeah. So self-control is always one for me. That's so when we did those assessments a few months back, and then working through some of the practices we can do to grow in those. Self-control is the one for me.
Yeah.
Specifically self-control when it comes to my health and my weight, because I'm a stress eater. I'm a celebratory eater. I'm a bored eater.
Same.
Food for every occasion.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
And every occasion for a food. Well, I should coin that. But yeah, so self-control is way up there. And even we were talking about intermittent fasting yesterday. I think you were in while it was being talked about.
Yeah.
And told that I'm on an 11 to 6:30.
I was there for that conversation.
Yeah. So my window's 11 to 6:30, and 11 I nail it. So,
Nice.
there are times I'll go till noon. Yeah, no problem in the morning. But man, when that sun sets,
You get snacky.
oh, snacky. And there are times not hungry at all, but then I get mealy. So not just snacky. I'm like having
Bowls of
second dinner.
cereals.
Yeah.
Mealy
Bowls of
is just a
cereals.
disgusting word.
Meal. So MEAL-Y.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's better.
Mealy is
that's
something
not
else
nearly as
entirely.
disgusting.
Then also as I was looking, peace and gentleness on that list as well. So peace in me you name it. I've struggled with imposter syndrome before, struggled with just trying to find my place in this world kind of stuff. If you want
Looking for a reason.
Yeah, I was looking at Stephanie.
To find my place in this world.
That's a Michael W. Smith song from the 80s.
Never heard it.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I have, but like mainly because of like you guys busting out a song or something like that. Not like I've listened to that song.
It's a power ballad.
It's one of those. So yeah,
Keep
self-control and then gentleness, kind of the same. So self-control is good in one part because I don't always say everything that's going in my head. And we even a couple months ago in our staff meeting, I just had to come out and confess to specifically you and Dustin about some things that I just for since we've been here, just some of those things that have been just rolling around my head that I'm just like, ugh! And so yeah. And love. I need to work on love. I need to work on
You're
peace,
just gonna name the whole
patience. I need to work. Yeah. Awesome. So why did we bring that up today?
No idea.
It was a ploy for me to get some blackmail material that didn't go well.
Sorry. So sorry.
Upsetting. But today we're in Matthew 16, 13 to 23. And we're talking about the aspect of hypocrisy. And specifically, the title of this week's sermon is You're No Better. Why are Christians such hypocrites? So this series has been one in which we're just facing reasons people would doubt, facing reasons, complaints people have against the faith, critiques,
Skepticism.
of those, for the critiques of those skeptical of the faith. And today we're like, why would I want to be with you guys? Because you're just a bunch of hypocrites. And interesting place to go to in Scripture to talk about it. Matthew 16, 13 through 23 today.
Oh, yeah. I really liked this study.
It was so fun. Yeah, it was a fun time being in that room. There are times I really wish we just recorded that meeting sometimes to play as this, and that would have been a fun one to do.
It was a fun conversation that we got to have.
Yeah, so we're going to try to go word for word and recreate the whole thing. And
I try to bring that to us a lot of the time, and you're like, Stephanie,
yeah,
it's not a repeat of yesterday. But today is that day?
Yeah, today's
Is that
the
what you're
day.
saying?
And so not only am I going to play me, I'm also going to be the narrator.
Are you going to be
And
Michael's voice?
Michael's voice. Charlie Cox was in there for a little while today. I'll be Charlie's voice. And Parker, since Parker's not at the mic today. Morgan was absent, so
I feel like Nathan could do Parker's voice.
Ooh.
that's the
I don't
job
know.
of the narrator. You just
He's
want to
got a
hear
great
his
voice.
Australian accent again.
I can't do that.
He does a better British accent, I think. Isn't that right? No?
Let's not go here again.
Okay.
They've heard us try it before, and it was not pretty.
Yeah. Hey, what was your big idea, Stephanie?
Who you say Jesus is can determine your relationship with him.
Can or does?
Should, may,
Must?
Does,
shall.
There we go.
Shall.
shall. Who you say Jesus is does determine your relationship with him.
I thought in the room you just said determines and left out that modifier.
Which would actually be...
Okay. It's no.
Let's keep going.
All right. What'd you have?
True knowledge of Christ is a gift from the Father.
Is a gift from the Father?
Yes.
Or was you just gonna
Shall a gift from the Father?
Just gonna question it.
Grammatical sense, Jay.
All right.
Oh, Jack Allen.
To try it again. I stepped all over that one.
True knowledge of Christ is a gift from the Father.
Boy, that's not bad. And so again, we're in Matthew 16, 13 to 23.
What's yours?
My big idea
Come on.
was what we set our minds to determines if we're building blocks or stumbling blocks. Boom. Holla.
Yeah.
So we want to be building blocks and not stumbling blocks. And we'll see in a bit
Clever girl.
where I came up. Thank you.
Did you say clever gal?
Clever girl.
Was that Silence of the Lambs?
It's Jurassic Park. The Raptors.
Yes. Dinosaur movie.
Yeah, my kid loves dinosaurs.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be able to quote it.
Hey, what kind of context do we have for Matthew 16?
You started off yesterday.
I did.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Oh, man. I had about 35 minutes worth of context for Caesarea Philippi.
But you have to break it down to
Condense
like
it.
just a minute.
Condense it to 1 minute. That's just right. No. So this is the farthest point north. So Caesarea Philippi, and then the next chapter they're on probably Mount Hermon. It doesn't say. And I didn't look at the right place, the right way to pronounce Mount Hermon. So it's probably not Hermon, because Hermon is a pretty Americanized last name. Hermon. So Hermon, but that's French. So I'm just going to roll with Hermon. Mount Hermon is in the next chapter, probably where the transfiguration happened, because they said they were up high. And in that area, that was the highest point in that area. So this area, the farthest point north in Matthew's gospel, Caesarea Philippi is about 25 miles north of the Sea of Galilee. The city itself was located one of the largest springs that fed the Jordan River in that time. Numerous temples were built in the city in the Hellenistic and Roman periods, most of which were dedicated to the Greek god Pan. The Banias waterfall comes out. This very cool thing, and we're going to be talking about this later too, that this waterfall is from the spring that comes out of a cave. So used to anyway. Earthquakes since have in 1967 kind of wrecked the cool aesthetics of that area. But there was the spring that came out of a cave and started this spring that fed the Jordan River. So in the Old Testament, Caesarea Philippi may have come into the text. Could have been either a place called Baal Hermon or Hermon, or Baal Gad.
Baal Hermon.
Baal Hermon up in Caesarea, Arkansas.
Wait, what? No.
Yep. So the site was later named Panias after the Greek god Pan, and we talked about that, him working there.
You stole my thing.
Yes, because we didn't want to get bleeped out.
Did you? You took my thing.
I had it written down.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
So there's this cool part. So
We're going to bleep out turd, right? We don't say that on the air.
The part that I thought she was going to bleep didn't actually get bleeped. So Peter, of course, and we'll talk about this too later. Peter, of course, means rock. And this guy writing on Notre Dame's website said, so Jesus may have been using this location to create this bold image for how this rock is to serve as a foundation for the church, while in this place where this awesome rock face is here. So it's certainly to be solid and strong, just as the cliff. And at the same time, it's also supposed to give life, like the spring that flows from it. So if Jesus likens the foundation of the church to this place, it means that the church should be a rock and a river, a stronghold and a mission, both powerful and life-giving. It's to be a fortress that bears fruit and feeds people wherever it flows. I just thought that was an awesome thing there. And like I said, the next chapter is the Transfiguration. And there are some pretty cool things about the apocryphal books of Enoch and Jubilees.
We don't talk about those.
That comes, so, we can't take them as gospel truth, but it's pretty cool. Some pretty cool.
There's some
additional
history in there.
context.
I was just joking about,
So we're not going to be preaching from the book of Enoch.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Probably not. So Caesarea Philippi was built by Herod, the great Herod. Herod
Great
the Great.
I like it. Great Herod.
And he gave it to his son, Philip, and
Hey,
that's
Harry,
how...
that's great.
Great Herod's ghost.
And that's
Christopher
where
Lloyd?
Caesarea Philippi came from. Paneas. Did I say it right?
Wow.
I said
I
it
think so.
yesterday. Whenever I was trying to say it, it did not sound like that
No.
at all.
You can guess what it probably sounded like.
Was named after the Greek god Pan. Stop. Named after the Greek god Pan, who was the god of the wild, shepherds, and flocks. So he was the one that had like the goat's legs and the horns, and so the
And a
flute.
flute.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I got to listen to
Mr. Tumnus?
He was, yeah.
Is that what like fawns are modeled after?
I think so.
Okay. It's interesting.
Okay.
And
Chronicles
if
of
it's
Narnia?
not,
Oh, okay, okay.
and if not, Emmy will let us know.
Yeah.
I bet
Bring
you
it.
would.
Bring it, Emmy.
So another thing that I got to read about this Greek god was so we'll get into that in a little bit, but he is the only Greek god to have died. And you backed it up, Nathan, with, what was that?
Yeah, so it's like whatever. If you just
Whenever
say
I
like
said
he's
that.
the only one who died, it's like hang on.
there was a pause. There was
It's
a
like-
pause in the room.
Right.
And they're like,
And
"Eh, what
then
are
you hear the
talking
clicking on the laptop.
And they're like, Stephanie's lost her mind.
Yeah, it's like I would say none of them have died because none, of them were alive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Iron Man was the only Marvel hero that died.
Okay.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was. Yeah, he did.
Because none of them actually lived.
What?
Anyway, so yeah, there is it was which
What
historian
movie is
was
that
it?
from?
Yep.
I have to look it up.
wasn't.
Anyway, but there was a historian that like reported that there was a ship that was sailing past the coast of Italy and heard that the god Pan is dead, and so that was actually right around like 80-30, which is like in the 17 to 67 range, I think, or something like that, or 17 to 47 maybe. Anyway, it's like a really interesting thought of like if there was at the same time that Jesus was dying on a cross, there was, you know, maybe a report that this Greek god was dead, even though he never existed, but they
Mhm.
presumed him dead.
Yeah,
Kind of cool.
it is pretty neat. And then also the gates of hell, which gates of Hades, which you were talking about, Jay, was like there was an entrance place into the cave, and that is also what they would call the gates of Hades.
There were several religions around that time
Mhm.
that thought that maybe that cave in particular was an entry point into the underworld.
Yep.
And so they would there were certain religions that called that area, that cave in particular, the gates of Hades.
Plutarch
Plutarch. Yeah.
was the historian who
Yep.
recorded that, the
Yep.
death of Pan.
I mean, a lot of people love to read Plutarch, so
Oh yeah,
that's like
I
an
do.
everyday
It's just like-
reading for people.
sitting on my nightstand.
If you also love reading Plutarch, email us. warehouse@cornerstone.team.
That's good.
Oh, so one of the things I didn't mention yesterday, which was interesting in those in the books of Enoch and Jubilees and the apocryphal books that Catholic Bibles have, but Protestant Bibles do not, is that and again Mount Hermon may have been the place where the Nephilim were conceived and brought about.
Let's talk about the Nephilims, guys.
Yeah.
I love talking about them. We could
this
go
is-
Yeah.
on about them.
But
Genesis
we're not going
6.
to. So
Let's open our Bibles to Genesis 6.
Yeah.
or your Bible app.
So it was just an interesting read that I heard there.
That's
Okay.
cool. And some people, never mind. We don't need to go down that.
Yeah.
I was going to.
So
Let's
warehouse
not.
after hours is where we'll talk about the
I
Nephilim.
feel like we could. I'm ready.
Hey, Matt, any other context?
I was just gonna say like so you guys went hard on the like immediate context. I think like the big picture context of
Oh,
Matthew
yeah.
is pretty cool to get in mind, and it's just like always helps me frame it up. So
Mhm.
Matthew is he's a Jew. He was a tax collector. So what do you
I
saying?
just wanted to do big eyes and be like, I had no idea.
Whoa.
You just blew my mind.
And he wrote to a largely Jewish audience. Whenever like we read his gospel, like one of his main points is that he's trying to establish Jesus as the Jewish Messiah.
Yeah.
Also as the king from the line of David, as a new Moses. It's where we get this the Sermon on the Mount. There's a similar account in Luke with the Sermon on the Plain, but we have the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew, where you just really have this vivid imagery of Jesus as king, talking about like what his citizens, what the citizens of the kingdom of heaven behave like, given kind of a rule of life for them.
Which is the best sermon ever.
Yeah. We're actually, a little spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. We're planning on teaching through it this summer.
Because it's the best sermon ever.
It is. It is.
I don't know. Billy Graham gave one in St. Louis one time.
That's a close runner-up. So anyway, I just think it's helpful, and I think that it is significant context just to think that like one of Matthew's main points is establishing that Jesus is that king from the line of David, that he is the promised, prophesied Messiah, because I think that comes into play here.
And previously, Jesus and the disciples have spent most of their time in Capernaum, ministering, teaching, because Capernaum was a city of trade and a lot of people in the area, and things got a little rocky for them. So they were leaving. The people were starting to turn against them, so they left and headed north.
All right.
Had you guys read anything? So Caesarea Philippi, it's different than the region of Caesarea. So it's a city, and it's not within the region of Caesarea. So it's like it's different, but it makes sense because Caesarea would be tied to Caesar.
Yeah,
and so there's like a temple to Caesar there, I think.
Caesarea was on the coast.
Yeah.
Of the Mediterranean?
I don't know.
But Caesarea Philippi, they had a worship place for Caesar and to Philip, right? Or Caesar Philip? Philip?
Philip wasn't a Caesar.
So then
Philip
it was two different places.
Herod's son.
Yeah.
Yeah. So something for Caesar, something for Pan.
Yeah.
Probably a couple other Greek gods.
So something I hadn't recognized is that apparently like one of the commentators was saying, or actually this was from the Holman Bible Atlas, which is a really cool reference if you ever get a chance to snag one to be able to go and see some different geographical facts and stuff. Holman Bible Atlas pointed out that Jesus would often go up here kind of as an escape, a moment away from Herod Antipas' rule. So it's like kind of getting out of Dodge a little bit whenever it's heating up. I just thought that was kind of an interesting little note.
Yeah, that's very cool. And here, it's a wilderness, but it's much different than what we think of as the wilderness, like when Jesus was tempted, the wilderness that the Israelites had to walk through. This is a lush area because of the springs that were there.
Like thick grass? Lush? Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the last context for me.
So and directly after what we're talking about today, Jesus will tell people to take their cross up and follow him, and then the next chapter is the Transfiguration.
And so with that, it's kind of like this is a transition point in Jesus' ministry. This is like the last thing that happens before he starts really like letting the cat out of the bag for who he is and lets the word start spreading, and then like is heading toward Jerusalem for the end.
Yeah. All right. Matthew 16, 13 to 23. And for the most part, we're just going to follow Michael's division of the verses as well. Anything else, context-wise?
Nope. Let's go.
All right, well, let's hit it. 13 and 14. Now, when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" And they said, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." Who do people say the Son of Man is?
So John the Baptist was Herod Antipas.
Antipas.
Dang,
You're so
guys,
close.
I'm gonna get it one day. That was his view personally. And then
Wait. Yeah.
So from one of the commentators I read, they said that Herod Antipas.
Yeah.
That was his view.
That he
That
what
he
was his
John
view?
the Baptist, and so like where it was like John the Baptist's spirit is
that Jesus was
yes.
John the Baptist reincarnate?
Yes.
Or the Son of Man is John the Baptist.
We'll get on that. And then Elijah was a Hebrew prophet who never died in the Old Testament.
No pig, but he never died.
Yeah, I yesterday was like, he's just this one guy who never died in the Old Testament.
Hang on.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty big deal. Jeremiah was one of the major prophets. Huh?
Sorry. I just caught myself because I realized I said double stop, and that's a music term, not, yeah.
And I just kept talking over you, and then I was like, wait, maybe he's saying something super important, so I can stop talking.
I'm sorry. I was in my head. Keep going.
Fine. Jeremiah, major prophet in the Old Testament, and one of the prophets. So this is where it would kind of have some, like, not division, but Son of Man. Normally that was what Jesus called himself. So
let's go in on this term. I want to talk about the Son of Man term.
Yeah. So, but let me finish the one of the prophets. If they're calling Jesus, so the Son of Man, where it says here in verse 13. So for me, reading this contextually, one of the prophets, they're not just saying he is just some person or some man. He is at least a prophet. So he's bigger than just a regular guy off the street. Okay, but Son of Man.
So that would have a generally positive impression, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so people say, so your natural reading of it, you're saying that you would naturally read it as, he says, who are people saying that the Son of Man, referring to me, is? And they're like, well, I mean, you got to be something pretty cool. They say you're at least one of the prophets.
Right.
Okay.
So with the Son of Man, we see that in Daniel 7 and Ezekiel, which specifically in Daniel 7, we see this man on, why can't my brain work?
That's not what the Son of Man said in Daniel.
No, I'll let one of you guys talk about it, though, because...
Well, so in Ezekiel, you have like 93 uses of this phrase, and it's not really like referring to a special being, right, in Ezekiel. But in Daniel... and I guess I should say, backing up one more, it was a phrase that was used in their poetry throughout the Old Testament as well, and it was usually used in some of their parallelism, where it would be like, what is man that you're mindful of him, and the Son of Man that you think of him, or something like that, where it would be kind of used to state the same thing. But whenever you get to Daniel,
Psalm
I have it pulled up. I have Daniel 7 pulled up for that bit.
Okay, so you want to share it?
Yeah. So in Daniel 7, 13 through 14, I saw in the night visions, and behold, with the clouds of heaven, there came one like a son of man. And he came to the Ancient of Days and was presented before him. And to him was given dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom one that shall not be destroyed.
So it seems to me that, so Daniel uses it as one like the Son of Man, right?
Yeah.
And which I think is significant, and I think that's different, because what it's saying is that, like, there's somebody, if we just take Son of Man, just means human, but then, and I think that's the right way to think about it. That up until this point, it's been just used to refer to, like, what is the Son of Man? Like, you're a man, right?
I am.
You are.
Darn right.
What is your son? He is also a man.
Yeah. And he is a son of man.
Right.
Yeah.
So
he's a son of a gun.
I've never put that together, but I love that. I'm sure you've used it plenty.
And it's been used against me.
Yeah. So I think that's significant. So then in Daniel 7, whenever it gets there, it says one like the Son of a Man, meaning that he's not human, but he's something that has this divine authority, but looks like a human.
Yeah. That's when I was watching the Bible Project video on Son of Man specifically, they did just such a great job of talking about it. But the coolest part for me was that they were talking that this human ascends to sit on the throne and co-rule with God. And then the other host on the video said, "Oh, hold on a second. A human on the throne? There must be something else about this guy." And that's when they get to say, yeah. Because he is a man, but he is the God man that's coming. And and it's interesting too, because I don't think we saw anywhere where it because Daniel says something like a Son of Man, where Jesus word here is, who do people say that the Son of Man is? And when he referred to himself as the Son of Man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something. So it seems to be that from Daniel. So Daniel was in the Babylonian exile, right? So whenever Daniel wrote, it's like a mixture of stories and apocalyptic literature.
Yeah.
He has these visions that just peel back the curtain and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so from that point on, they're actually Israel like doesn't end up back in their like restored to glory or anything. They consider themselves to be, like out of the land. They have not been able to, like, the glory's not been restored to the temple and everything, even after they rebuild it. And then you end up with the like those intertestamental books being written, like Enoch and the Maccabees and all that. And so actually after Daniel, you do have the book of Enoch, first Enoch being written, like fourth Ezra, I think is the other one that references the Son of Man. And after Daniel, you start seeing this development of the Son of Man being like a title for an angelic or a deified human or a humanized deity, however you want to think about that, this being. So it took on more of an actual title of the Son of Man instead of just a Son of Man.
After Daniel's.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. And so what's Jesus asking here? Who do people say that I am? Or who do people say that figure is?
The Son of Man.
We had a fun conversation about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of my question was, like, we see here the contrast is between who do people say that the Son of Man is, and then later he says, but who do you say that I am?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, is he swapping one variable
Right.
or two variables?
Right.
Yeah.
And so yesterday we really got to discuss this is like, is this the first part where he's ever called himself the Son of Man? And so we got to go back into Matthew and really discover like this is not the first time he is calling himself the Son of Man or Son of Man. The Son of Man. But we got to see whenever he says the Son of Man has authority and then he heals. And
so then the question is just like, had they made the connection yet?
Right.
So Jesus obviously views himself as the Son of Man.
Yeah. So is he quizzing the disciples about, so this person who's going to be the Son of Man, who do people say that's going to be?
Right.
And then is he trying to get his disciples to connect those dots? So when they say, who do you say that I am? Was he in a point trying to get them to the place of saying, oh, well, you're the Son of Man?
Right. I kind of like that, honestly.
I kind of do too. Literally, especially.
Because then the first thing out of Peter's mouth is, you are the Christ. And so the Son of Man had taken on this messianic quality through the apocalyptic literature and then that intertestamental period. And so it's like, if he's at first saying like, hey, just speculation, like what's the scuttlebutt around town? Like who do you guys say, like who do people say that the Son of Man is going to be? And they're like, oh, they say it's going to be like, they say that John the Baptist was the Son of Man, or they say that Elijah's coming back, or maybe it's Jeremiah or one of the other prophets is going to come back and be the Son of Man. And he's like, but who do you say that I am? Yeah. And if that's a moment where it's like, oh, that's you.
Yeah.
So anyway, I kind of like that, but I would not fight you over it.
right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And so Elijah's part, that comes from Malachi 4. As God says to Malachi, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the great and awesome day of the Lord comes, and he will turn the hearts of fathers to their children and the hearts of children to their fathers, lest I come and strike the land with a decree of utter destruction. So there's this promise in Malachi that Elijah's going to be out there. So some are saying maybe Elijah. Others are saying Jeremiah. This was a fun one too, because kind of step back into those intertestamental books, the Apocrypha from the Catholic Bible there. So they would have some of that. They would have read some of that. It's not like they didn't see it as scripture per se, but they would have read some of that material.
Right.
And in second, I think Esdras, I will send you help, my servants Isaiah and Jeremiah, according to their counsel, I have consecrated and prepared for you. And then it goes on. And there's talk about in the Maccabees that Jeremiah came and gave a sword to Judas Maccabeus during their struggle. So there's this idea too that Jeremiah is going to return. And so some are saying that. Or one of the prophets, Moses said in Deuteronomy 18:15, the Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you, from among your brothers. It is to him you shall listen. So there are all these ideas of people who are going to be sent back to the people. And here it's just kind of a popcorn shot of people saying, yeah, people have saying this, and people are saying that.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. I was just like, that was jogging my memory. Jesus refers to John the Baptist as Elijah as well. So you have in Matthew 11:13-14, he says, for all the prophets in the law prophesied until John, and if you're willing to accept it, he is Elijah who is to come. Anyway, just interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so even if we can't say, even if it's not a double switch, if it's just if they would have understood the Son of Man and I am to be just kind of interchangeable, they understand that he's referring to himself both times. You still have like at them saying like, hey, the people, I mean, think you're pretty neat. I mean, you've got some authority and like you're something special. Like the people know that you're not just a dude.
Yeah.
You know, John
D. He's a capital D dude.
John the Baptist, Elijah, Jeremiah, one of the prophets. So they're like, okay, that would be significant.
Yeah.
Nobody's just saying, so they're not saying, yeah, you're just kind of a teacher.
Yeah. Yeah. The John the Baptist one really confused me because he's just a few months older than Jesus.
And he's dead by this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one confused me as well, which is part of what made me think like, I kind of prefer him asking like whether John the Baptist was the Son of Man versus whether Jesus is John the Baptist, since they were contemporaries.
Yeah.
Like that just feels weird to me, but
Yeah.
Yeah, especially since those who saw John saw that he baptized Jesus.
right. I guess they could think, I mean, maybe there'd be some of like the Elijah passing the mantle on to Elisha.
Oh, interesting.
So maybe that would be another way to think about it. Like maybe they think you received the anointing of John the Baptist in his ministry. I don't know. I mean, because it was the John saying, I must decrease that he may increase. Yeah. That's a very mantle passing kind of thing.
It was very
I don't know. Just a
mantle passing. Hey, how about verses 15 to 18?
Do it.
Yeah.
He said to them, but who do you say that I am? Simon Peter replied, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered him, blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it.
Pew, pew.
That's powerful.
I think of Michael talking about with a squirt gun every time.
Gates of hell with a squirt gun.
Yeah. Yep, that's what I think of.
When you read this or when you hear him
Just
say
gates
that?
of hell. I hear gates of hell. I'm like, Michael talking about water gun, squirt gun.
And he's just talking about this place in Caesarea Philippi. If you travel to northern Israel with a squirt gun.
Yeah. That's the kind of courage we're looking for.
Yes.
I would go to northern Israel.
Some of you get so hyped up on Jesus, you'll buy a plane ticket and go to northern Israel.
With a squirt gun.
With a squirt gun.
So
Probably not on the plane.
So verse 15, the you there is plural. So he's talking to all of the disciples, not just to specifically Peter here.
So the who do you say that I am?
Who do you say that I am? He's
that's
talking
plural.
to the 12.
Who do y'all say that I am?
Yeah.
Yuns.
Yuns. Simon Peter is normally called Peter, and he is the spokesman for the 12. What was that?
Do you
for?
think he's an appointed spokesman?
Yeah, or was he just like a person who likes to talk a lot, like
He's a
this guy?
self-appointed spokesman.
Right.
Self-appointed spokesman.
Right.
We know a thing or two about that.
Jay does.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a self-appointed lots of things.
Yeah. But this is the first time the disciples are claiming Jesus is the Messiah through Matthew. So I just thought that was super neat. I didn't mention that yesterday, but this is the first time we see them declaring he is the Messiah.
Yep.
What are you? Are you going to start typing?
Are you internally fact checking?
That's one of those times where one of us makes a face and she, in this audible format, doesn't just write us a note and say, "Hey, what's up?" She
Calls it.
Yeah, verbalizes it.
You did a face.
Exactly.
Okay.
As the appointed host of this podcast.
Self-appointed.
That is very, very true. Who?
Sorry, we both made the same noise. Oh.
Okay.
Oh. I love the fact that it goes. So I just, again, the contrast whenever we see up top, who do people say the Son of Man is? And then here he's calling him the Son of the Living God.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool, right?
So the Son of the Living God part was was also just in contrast to Pan. Like some have said, the God who is alive, unlike the pagan gods, specifically Pan, of the Caesarea Philippi, Jesus is the fulfillment of the Old Testament promise of a divine son as anointed king. And so, like, they worship a living God, not a God that is dead or that doesn't exist. So
you said this was the first time that the disciples did what?
Called him the Messiah.
Jesus Messiah, like that he is the Messiah.
Oh, okay. Because
So you're okay with that?
So when Philip and Nathaniel are talking, and Nathaniel says, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" And Philip says, "Well, come and see." And then Jesus reads Nathaniel's mail, and in John 1:49, Nathaniel declared, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You're the King of Israel."
So you're bringing up John 1:49?
I am.
So that's not in chronological order.
So you would
She was
say,
saying specifically just in Matthew's gospel.
In Matthew's gospel.
Okay.
But
I would think Nathaniel would have joined the band before this. But yeah, Matthew's gospel. I'm with you. I'm there. You can cut that, Parker.
No.
And I think, and again, just tracking with, if Matthew really is making a big case for Jesus being the Messiah, then it would be, we should think that it's kind of significant. Like, when do his closest followers, closest friends and followers, like, actually recognize this about him?
Yeah. Also, for those who do not know, and if you did know this or whatever, Christ is not Jesus's last name. Did you guys know that?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, what is it then?
Christ can mean Messiah or anointed one.
Christ is the Greek translation of the anointed one.
Right.
Man. And again, Bible Project has a cool podcast series on the meaning of the anointed one. So we won't spend that time here again. But the Bible Project, Anointed One, podcast series.
Click on that link.
Yeah, click that link.
In the
Not
audio.
an affiliate link. But so I think it's so cool there that you're the Christ, the Son of the living God. So I didn't connect these dots yesterday, but Peter is saying you're the Christ, right? Yeshua bar Yahweh. And then Jesus says, "Well, blessed are you, Simon bar Jonah."
So in case you were not tracking with that train of logic, bar Jonah, whenever he says, "Blessed are you, Simon bar Jonah," the bar Jonah means that he was the son of Jonah.
Simon, son of Jonah. Jesus
just said, "Son of the living God."
Yeah, Jesus, Son of God.
Yeah, I liked the contrast of Simon bar Jonah to "but my Father who is in heaven." So the contrast between those two, and I didn't catch the Son of the living God part. That's good.
That's cool.
I like it.
The blessed are you. So that's Makarios. It can mean happy or blessed. And it's, we were kind of talking about, like, what exactly is it referring to? Cause it's not saying he's not saying like, "Hey, gold sticker, good job, man." But he's actually acknowledging the fact that, like, the fact that Simon was able to say this is actually evidence of the fact that he has been blessed by God.
You're blessed because you've been able to say, "I'm Christ."
Right.
This is how I know that you're blessed.
Yeah.
Right.
So not that you're going to receive a blessing because you said this,
Yeah.
but here's how I know that you're blessed. And it's similar to, like, blessed are the peacemakers and stuff. It's not so much like, "Hey, make some peace so that you can be blessed," but it's like, happy are. It's like, this is the good life,
Yeah.
is living in the kingdom, and the kinds of people who live in the kingdom are peacemakers. So I just tie it to that.
Not an emotionally happy, it's not a happy versus sad but it's that deeply anchored.
Yeah. It's like, this is like off topic, but it's like, I do think there is some of the emotional happiness there too. So it's like, I think sometimes people make a little bit too much of a distinction between the joy and happiness. It's like, I do think like whenever we are firmly found in Christ, I think we can experience even the emotional happiness. Not that it's all the time and stuff, but I do think, we should expect that. Scripture refers to God as the happy God. So anyway, just a thought.
That's really good. What about the rock?
You weren't there yet?
No. Just going back to the Simon, son of Jonah. Simon has a natural father, Jonah, but his ability to confess Jesus came not from the flesh and blood source, but the Father who is heaven. So Father in heaven.
There you go.
Thank you. Not who is heaven. Flesh and blood means human, like fleshly things. It's just...
Not like sinful flesh, just like natural material. Yeah.
Natural material. Yeah.
Yeah. And so again, I always pay attention to, we've gotten called out on history stuff. We've gotten called out on math stuff. I might be getting ready to get called out on English stuff.
Ooh, let's do it.
And, but, and, or. Those are conjunctions, right?
In, but,
and,
or.
But, and, or. Conjunctions?
Conjunction.
Nope. Yeah.
Okay.
Use words, a word used to connect clauses or sentences or to coordinate words in the same clause. And, but, if, or.
Okay, sweet. I was just like...
Got you, English people.
You Googled it.
So again, like if you were to look at my screen right now, you'd see that every conjunction in the passage is highlighted red, just because it.
Guys, I wish you could see this. It's so red.
It's so.
It is very red. Red of reds.
And the reason I do that is because it shows how the propositions in the passage are tied together, whether they are like continuing a thought, elaborating on a thought, or providing contrast. And so we've got one in verse 15. He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" So then we should see like he's introducing, this is now a new proposition. It's in contrast to what they say. What do you say? And then down here we have for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you. So that for would be another example where we've got blessed are you, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. So that's again where I would bring in the reason he is Jesus is saying he's blessed is because God's revealed it to him in heaven. And for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And so what I love about that is this kind of like ties it up nicely. Up top, the people who are observing things about Jesus were observing what they could see with flesh and blood. They're observing the fact that he's a good teacher and he's performing miracles, and they're discerning by their material senses that he at least has to be a prophet. And he's saying, but instead of what you can see with just your eyes, my Father who is in heaven has revealed this to you, this spiritual reality that I am the Christ, the Son of the living God.
Oh, man. And
I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock. Anyway.
Now we can talk about Peter, right?
What about this rock?
So Peter actually means rock. So Petra is a feminine name, and
it's a feminine word.
Yep.
So Petras is the Greek for rock, and that's feminine. But Peter,
Matthew wanted to give it more of a male name. So Peter, what?
That's not exactly the way that worked.
Matthew probably wouldn't have.
Matthew wouldn't have. Well,
so in Greek, so there's like wordplay going on here, right? So Peter's name is very, very similar to the word for rock in Greek. Like it's that basically rock is the feminine form and Peter's name is the masculine form. And so you can think like, wait, is Jesus just making a wordplay, or is he like trying? Is it something's clicking for you here?
Yep. Because I was like, wait, no. Well, I was like, wait, so did he receive his name Peter here? But I don't. No, he didn't.
And the same
it's
is
fine.
in, was it Aramaic we were talking about?
In Aramaic, it's exactly the same word.
Yeah.
So like I've seen like arguments to try to say like, oh, he uses two different words, and he's trying to draw out a nuance of like Peter's name is this one, Petros or whatever, and then I'm not gonna butcher the Greek. I'm not a Greek student, but like it is different, and the word for rock is feminine versus Peter's name is masculine because he's a dude.
Yeah.
But if you go back to the Aramaic, it's actually just the same word, and Aramaic is what Jesus would have been speaking to him. Greek is how it was recorded.
Oh, because Matthew likely spoke in Greek, where Jesus likely spoke in Aramaic.
Well, Matthew wrote in Greek.
Yeah,
he would have spoken.
So they would have both known some Greek,
right? Yeah.
Right. So it's the idea of the language you speak at home versus the language you speak out. Yeah. So for us, we know that in school, in English class, we're not supposed to talk. We're not supposed to use the word ain't. We're not supposed to use, too many negatives in a sentence. Mm-hmm. But then you get home and you're talking, Mom, I ain't never seen no chickens with bare bellies.
Oh, talking about my kid.
So that's weird.
Even those of us who only speak English, we have different dialects, different languages that we speak at home versus. And so here, Greek would have been spoken for the area, especially when different cultures would come into a city to trade, and that was a common language for that. But then at home, and with a bunch of guys who also just were from Capernaum and that area, then they're dropping into Aramaic because that's their heart language.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Also, this is the first and only time in Matthew where Peter is called Simon Peter here. In verse 16, Simon Peter, first and only time he is called that in Matthew.
Very cool.
Okay.
And so as much conversation as people have about, well, what is this rock? And is Peter the rock, or is the rock his confession, or is the rock Jesus? It's interesting here when you look in the original language that Peter is the subject of the sentence. Rock is the indirect object, and church is the direct object. So Jesus is talking about building the church, and he's talking to Peter about building the church. The church is the thing that's going to be built, and what the church is built on, whether it is Peter the dude who is going to lead the church until Acts
2? Is it Acts 2?
Yeah, but he's leading until it transitions to Paul's story. So Peter, it's uncomfortable language, but Peter's the star of Acts until Paul
shows up,
transitions to Paul.
And he continues leading the church. It's just like the story kind of like changes focus because he's still just as influential.
Yeah. The camera picks and zooms over to Paul and then takes off with him. But Peter is still one of the pillars that Paul would later say. I think he mentioned Peter and John and maybe James, his brother, as pillars of the church. And I can't remember where that was. I heard Sam Storms talking about that. But so whether or not we get so caught up in what's the rock, Jesus, the confession, the man, that we forget that the main object is Jesus is going to build his church.
Yeah.
So what if it's the man, this hot-headed, mouth-footed, quick to speak, quick to mess up,
cut off ears?
Yeah, quick to slice an ear. In my head, mouth-footed.
I think I would have to say foot-mouthed.
Foot-mouthed, mouth-footed. So if you put your foot in your mouth, are you foot-mouthed? Or are you mouth-footed? Stephanie?
I'm like, I don't get it.
If you say mouth-footed, I just envision feet with mouths on them.
But foot-mouthed means that's a foot with a mouth in it.
Stephanie says that we don't have time to talk about this.
Yeah, we're at 52 minutes and we still have a lot of verses.
Pointing at the clock. So you would rather us care about the clock than goofy
I will build my church. I love Jesus language here, and this is something like as a pastor who I get to be a part of like being responsible for this church, but at the end of the day, I should not call it my church.
Right.
And I think that's just something like even linguistically, like I want to be careful about because like whenever I'm praying and stuff, I'm just like, Jesus, thanks for letting me like help shepherd your church.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a humble attitude that we should have toward that. And I love the fact that he says, I will build my church. Because there's some days, like being on staff at a church where I'm like, man, this didn't go the way I wanted it to. Or like, are we making the kind of progress we were hoping with that? And I'm just reminded of Jesus saying like, I will build my church.
Right. It's ownership. Like it's his church. It's not ours. And it's not anything like we can be doing things to help build the church. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
he's going to do it.
Yeah, it's
He's
his.
going to do it. Period.
From here in
Full stop, not double stop.
Yeah. In comfortable America, in oppressed China, to our brothers and sisters there, the church is growing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because Jesus is building it.
Right. So he is the architect of the church. And Peter's authority is completely tied to Jesus's authority as the Christ, the Son of the living God. Jesus alone is preeminent in this text.
Ooh.
Whoa.
I like it. Hey, what about
Gates
what
of
if
hell?
we just
Is that where we were at?
Yeah.
Gates of hell.
This was a really good part for me yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you're looking at it in context of like them hearing this and them being in that specific location of the gates of Hades, which we've talked about this before. I know maybe not on the podcast, but we've had conversation of like Hades is just, that's another way it could be translated, or Sheol, which is a place of the dead. So the gates of Hades, a place of power and evil and death. So that was for them. For them, not for like the Jews at the time, because they would have viewed it as just a place you go to die.
If somebody's wondering, tying the terms Hades and Sheol together, where would you point them?
Yeah, so like in the Old Testament, a lot they used Sheol as, that was like a common word. I think, wasn't it Job who talked about like send me to Sheol, which was just like the place of dead. Yeah. So this is meant to be offensive, not defensive. So the church is alive and well. Look at where it was there, like at this point in time, and now where it is. Like the church is still here, where Pan is now like no more. A place of worship for Caesar is no more, where all of those places are now ruins. The church is still thriving and doing its work 2,000 years later. Like you were saying, there's places in China and here where the church is growing, where those other religions have now ceased. So death will not overpower the church.
Yeah, that's so good. And again, when you're thinking about the setting he was in and how good Jesus was at using the settings around him to tie those ideas together, that where else would he have talked about the gates of hell than right where people say that cave there you see with the spring rolling out that they think is the gates of hell. I'm going to build the church, and not even those gates would be able to prevail.
Right. No, and that's like where they would throw sacrifices in, and just, it's so cool to me that like that's now a ruin, and here we are now. Still
2,000 years later, talking about that place that was destroyed.
And the foundation that Jesus built.
Yeah, an earthquake in AD 67 totally changed the water flow and the topography of that cave, and yet the church is still being built across the globe.
Yeah, and like death cannot stop Jesus. And just, it's good. Because he rose.
Yeah, he did. Sing it again.
Nope.
How about, you ready to roll in?
19.
Sure. Let's go ahead and 19 through 23, and we'll bind it all together.
Okay, go on.
I'll give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Then he strictly charged the disciples to tell no one that he was the Christ. From that time, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things from the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed on the third day. And be killed, and on the third day be raised. And Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, "Far be it from you, Lord. This shall never happen to you." But he turned and said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a hindrance to me, for you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of man."
So the you there in verse 19, it becomes singular again. So he is talking to Peter at this time. And the keys of kingdom of heaven. So I didn't know this was like the pearly gates reference, right? Where, no.
This isn't necessarily a pearly gates reference.
It's where people pull the idea of pearly gates.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, you never hear of Andrew being having the at the
It's always
pearly
St.
gates.
Peter.
Yeah,
Right,
always
it's St.
Peter at the
Peter.
pearly gates.
Yeah, standing there, allowing people to come in, not come in. So I didn't know that.
Like a heavenly janitor with his ring of keys.
Yes, swinging it around.
Uh-huh.
What about binding and loosing?
So this is another like kind of confusing one. Like some people tie spiritual significance as far as like demonic influence and stuff like that can be bound or loosed. Some people would tie it specifically like church authority, which I think that would be my personal bent on it. Is he's talking to the pillars, to Peter, and then it gets extended to the disciples, and then I think would be extended to like the authority of the church as the whole now as well. That like the way that God, the way that God has empowered authority to be his representatives on earth, like the church is one of those. And so like the church has the authority to allow people to be admitted in as members into the church. And there's a certain, and it's not like we can, a church leader can cut off your salvation, but it's serious. Like if you are in a spot of like being in rebellion against your church authority, there's a measure of like that being out of line with what God wants for you. And so I see like there's some elements of like that the church leaders are not just that they actually have some authority behind them that, to bind and loose from a teaching perspective.
Yeah.
Which binding and loosing was a very common phrase at this time.
That rabbis would do.
Yeah, which for us, it seems like kind of offhand, like almost like where I did.
Odd.
Yeah, I wouldn't understand necessarily what it meant. And it was like binding meant to prohibit and loosing meant to permit. And so just hearing those things, I was like, oh, that makes sense. And the key, like I'm going back to the kingdom of heaven, because like talking about like the pearly gates, it's saying that we all have authority to like those who are called to like proclaim the gospel. Like that's what we're supposed to be doing. And
well, that would be one way. So that would be another way to
Right.
another approach to it. Like, is he talking to Peter exclusively? Is he talking to Peter and the other 11 minus Judas?
No, 12 minus Judas. 11.
No, Peter
counting.
plus 11.
Oh, Peter
minus,
plus 11 minus
Yep.
1.
Yep.
wow, that's a lot of math.
1,
Thanks.
11 minus
Yeah.
1. Yep.
Check that math, Emmy.
Yep.
So it could be that he's talking about authority to them. It could be that he's talking about authority to church leaders. Or it could be that he's talking about that, like, hey, from this point forward, like as you proclaim this message,
Right.
what you're doing is giving admittance into the kingdom.
Right.
And which is kind of the view you're going at. But it's
Right.
like, I would not say that you can necessarily say that that's what it meant.
Yeah.
I
You
think
liked the idea of it being the church universal.
a
Or
church authority structure. Like,
locally.
yeah,
Okay.
I do.
Wait,
What?
talk about that more.
Yeah, so I think just like
Rewind a couple minutes on the...
Yeah. Sorry. No, you don't have to. I'm just like,
that the binding and loosing would be specifically given to church leaders.
okay.
That they can give teaching that is authoritatively like that's authoritative for their local congregation.
And so we're not talking about like a friend in our small group is sick and the people in their small group get together and pray for them and you're binding and loosing something there.
Right.
Those are separate ideas. Praying for somebody who's sick,
I'm thinking
leading
of
somebody
like,
in the
especially so to me, like I think of it largely in like a church authority structure and like the way that plays out in church discipline. So whenever you have Paul talk about like confronting that divisive person once, confronting them again, this is within the church, within a local church.
Yeah.
But after the third time, like cast them out and give them over to Satan, that they might come to. So it's like, I think of that kind of thing of like that's some intense language around that to say, turn it over to Satan. And I think that kind of pairs well with this binding and loosing.
Yeah.
But
there, again, that's not written in
Right.
stone either.
Right. Yeah.
We don't have a compendium to Matthew 16 that says this is actually what he meant.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. And so you guys out there, whatever your opinion is, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
unless you're making fun of our math and or grammar.
Ugh.
Then we're going to hear it anyway. But
So they tell no one that he was the Christ. I just think it's crazy that he's like, hey, don't tell anybody that I am that person.
You
And
think it's crazy? You calling Jesus crazy right now?
no.
You said, I think it's crazy.
Because like whenever like
Astounding.
why wouldn't he want people to know who he is? So then whenever we examine
Because he's crazy? What are you saying, Stephanie?
yeah,
astounding.
Okay.
It's astounding. It's astounding.
Yeah.
it just throws me through a loop.
Okay.
Okay, Jesus is not crazy. He was very sane. I don't
So sane.
But so whenever we take it and like yep. No, I'm not
I
done.
threw you off. I'm sorry.
You threw me
I
off.
didn't
But
mean
it's
to.
okay. It's fine. It happens very
didn't mean
easily.
to.
I'm learning.
So you're trying to figure out like why would he not want them to say that he was the Christ?
Right, because they would have viewed him still like as this political person coming in to do the
Mhm.
things and
Yeah.
to knock him out and like
Yeah.
take control again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and that
he's
was
not
the-
ready for like not that he's not ready for it, but that's not his mission. He's wanting them to see the other.
Yeah. They're not ready to spread the correct message.
Right.
So yeah, don't talk before you know what you're talking about.
Right,
And
they
you're
need
not
to learn-
really you're not really going to know what you're talking about until you get filled with the Holy Spirit. So
Mhm.
let's keep it quiet.
Yeah. So they need to learn what that means first before they start saying it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I agree with that.
I like it. From that time. So
Yep.
this was the time that Jesus started really showing his disciples that I'm going to have to be arrested and beaten and put on trial
Right.
and die.
Right. So this marks the conclusion of Jesus's Galilean
Uh-huh.
ministry and the beginning of his Jerusalem ministry and the beginning of his journey to Jerusalem to face the cross. It is the first of 4 times that Jesus predicts his arrest and crucifixion.
In Matthew.
Ian Matthew?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Thanks, guys.
So at one point, Jesus sets his face on Jerusalem. This is kind of the precursor to that. He's starting to head toward that direction because the end's coming for him,
Mm-hmm.
earthly.
Yeah.
And you already read Peter's reaction, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I think Peter's reaction shows kind of exactly why he said, hey, you guys aren't ready to tell
Right.
people I'm the Christ.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, so Peter's had this like theophany.
Ooh, good word. How about you? explain
Yeah. So
what that is?
a revelation from God.
About
About who Jesus
about-
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's had this incredible moment, but still, whenever he says you're the Christ, the Son of the living God, he's not thinking suffering servant kind of Christ. He's thinking, wow, if the Messiah is actually the Son of God as well, then he's going to really be able to kick butt.
Yeah. Yeah. The one who's quick to speak,
Mhm.
quick to act,
Yep.
ready for
Violence. Yeah.
ready for General Messiah to come and take back his land.
Mm-hmm.
And so he rebuked him. The same word when Jesus rebuked the wind and calmed the storm is the word that Peter used here.
Mm-hmm. I think Stephanie's getting ready to correct my use of theophany. Bring it on, Stephanie.
No, it's just whenever I hear theophany, I don't think of it being a revelation of somebody getting something that God has revealed to them,
Mhm.
but
A manifestation.
a manifestation. So, yeah, a visible manifestation to humankind of God
Yes.
is what
So
it means.
that's not exactly the right term for me to use there then, if we're going to be precise. I mean, Jesus was a theophany,
yes,
right?
yes.
I was thinking I was going along the lines of like, he had an epiphany.
Right.
Mhm.
And I'm like,
About
whoa, but it's
the
more
theos.
than an epiphany because it's from God. And so I just went that direction.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it doesn't really matter. I appreciate your correcting my precision though.
Far be it from you, Lord. Him saying, God forbid. One of these things of, what are you talking about? This is
Mhm.
not true. This shall never happen to you. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe the craziest part of this passage, get behind me, Satan. You're a hindrance to me. Hindrance there. This is where I got my big idea earlier. The rock on which the church will be built has become a stumbling block.
Yeah, so Peter goes from a rock to a stumbling block.
Yeah.
Just like that.
It's amazing in the span of a couple verses.
Mm-hmm.
So because it is that hindrance, that word there is a snare, a stumbling block, a cause for error.
Mm-hmm.
For you're not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of men.
Again, seems to be like up top, we see everybody, we see that Peter is being applauded for recognizing something about Jesus that the things of man could not reveal about him, but only the things of God could show him. And now he's just flipped it right around.
Yeah.
He's looking at the things that flesh and blood look at and missing the things that the Father who's in heaven would say.
Yeah. And he was, so just a few verses ago, he had his mind so much on the things of God that he was able to see that Jesus is the Christ.
Yeah.
Jesus is the Messiah. Jesus is the Son of Man that Daniel prophesied.
He could see what everybody else was missing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but he also thought in this time, like, oh man, that means I'm going to become like vice president to you, or like in our day, like that's
his power was tied to Jesus' power. So
right.
yeah,
He's like, man, I'm just going to be second man in this.
Yeah. And so for him to do that, the first man can't die. He has to not only live, but he has to conquer.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Man. And that's, I had wrote there too, that herein lies the problem with the church. We come across hypocrites because we claim, we come across as hypocrites because we claim to be the people of God, but have our minds on the things of men.
Yeah.
She sent us a message. And so she's yelling at us.
To read it.
Can she talk? Yes, please. And so it's interesting here that Peter would be the first pope.
That's what people have assumed, is that he was the first pope. That's what it, like, because he is the rock. But it shows that he is infallible, because infallible means like they don't make, or it's of making mistakes or being wrong. Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
I think you're saying it the wrong way.
Yeah. Infallible means like they don't,
make mistakes.
Right. But yet Peter did.
So yeah, this would be like one of the foundational texts used by the Catholic Church.
Incapable of making a mistake. There it is.
Yeah.
Incapable.
You got it.
Woo.
Foundational text used by the Catholic Church to say that Peter was the first pope. But again, we see here like, hey, that's maybe not a great choice if, Peter immediately turns around and misses it this bad.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then
he missed it bad.
we also got to talk about Satan here as well. I'm
We
pointing
did.
to you.
We got to talk about Satan.
Pointing
Yeah.
to Nathan.
I don't know if that was, are you accusing him?
I don't know what's happening.
Oh,
I think she was
Satan.
saying, get thee behind us, Nathan.
Satan.
Whoa. I would never. You've never been a stumbling block for me, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, so Satan meant, so sometimes it was used like more generically just to refer to an adversary. It was like in Hebrew or Aramaic, it just meant adversary, but
Yeah.
also it was used as a proper name for, the particular angelic fallen being that's the leader of demonic forces and stuff. And that's what's actually being used here. He's not just saying, hey, like, why are you opposing me, Satan? But he's actually tying like this work that opposes his mission. He's tying it to like the work of Satan himself.
Yeah. I wanted you to say it because my note said that it was like just the adversary. So I wanted you to talk on it because Okay.
I mean,
I was pointing.
he is the adversary.
Right.
Capital A.
Yeah. Yep.
Man, anything else?
Just the very end with him not setting your mind on the things of God, but things of man. So this is a perfect example of how a sincere heart coupled with man's thinking can lead to a disaster.
A sincere heart coupled with man's thinking can lead to disaster.
So you're kind of tying that to up above.
top.
We see
Right.
what seems to be a sincere heart.
Right.
Could have been a flash in the pan moment too. Who knows, like exactly where Peter's heart is. But
Oh, man. Anything else for the text? What are you excited to hear, Nathan?
I really liked, we kind of spent a minute at the end of exegesis going around and talking about like how this ties into the topic of hypocrisy. And I like seeing here that even the like early apostles who walked with Jesus, who trained with him for a period of time and stuff, like he chose to entrust like the building of his church to them, but they were like very flawed people, and like we don't see that just go away even after. Like it would be easy to say like, oh, once they get the Holy Spirit, surely it's all good, but then there's still issues. After that. You have Paul getting into a fight with, I think, Barnabas over John Mark, and they end up parting ways and stuff. You end up with Peter like disassociating with the Gentiles and just siding with the Jews at one point because he's afraid of like public opinion of him. And Paul calls him out because he says his conduct was not in line with the gospel. That's in Galatians 2. Okay. And so
but both times after, both with Barnabas and with Peter, Paul raises them up in his words and talks positive and uplifting about them.
Right.
But yeah, in those moments, they were knockdown dragouts.
Yeah. So I think what I like about that is just seeing the imperfections of even the foundational, like Ephesians 2 says that the church is built on the foundation of the apostles and the prophets. And so seeing those imperfections even there, that it's not the perfection of the vessel or the messenger that makes the gospel true and worthwhile, but it's the perfection of like Jesus Christ himself.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm excited about.
Yeah. And how important it is for us to be honest about our shortcomings, to be humble in them, and to keep our minds on things of God as we're working through this, so that we're not stumbling blocks to those around us.
Yeah.
I think that has been an eye-opening moment for me, is this idea of, where are my blind spots? Where are my places where I need to focus and keep my minds on the things of God, to keep my mind, to keep my eyes fixed on Jesus and not the things of man. That's about you.
Yep. Mine is like kind of just a thing about both of yours. I love the aspect of here that it's not us that does the work necessarily. Like we're supposed to be doing the work. Yes, like spreading the gospel and helping people follow Jesus, but he will build his church. And so I find comfort in that I'm not going to mess it up for God.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Anything else?
Not for me.
No.
All right. Guys, thanks so much for listening. You guys put wind in our sails.
Wow.
So keep writing, keep making fun, keep correcting. If you know how to pronounce Mount Hermon, let us know. We sure appreciate you. And man, share it with a friend. Email us, warehouse@cornerstone.team. And we will see you on the flippity flop. Hey, say bye, Nathan.
No, bye. I thought you were going to do the thing, the ending.
Mount Hermon. She thought I was going to do the thing that until next time, the warehouse is closed. That's the thing. That's the thing.
It was good.